On March 13th, 2024, federal officials announced that they'll be funding $117 million to extend the Queensway to Forest Park, and this is a very good project, to shoot down the possibility of ever reactivating a much-needed transit connection. For those who don't know, Queens has this abandoned rail line called the Rockaway Beach Branch. Located in the center of Queens, it is positioned north to south, stretching from Rego Park in the north to Ozone Park in the south. There are two competing ideas for this. The first one is Queensway, which would see the entirety of the abandoned rail line turned into a park, akin to the High Line. The second one is Queenslink, which proposes reactivating the line as part of the subway, connecting northern and southern Queens, while also providing new park space. Despite the Queenslink having overwhelming local and political support, it's the Queensway which is being advanced by the mayor. Queenslink is the objectively better project. It helps add capacity to the local track of QBL and the Rockaway line, gives a north-south connection in Queens that parallels two of the most congested roads, and cuts a much more direct route into Midtown Manhattan, which can save 20 minutes each way. There are more reasons, and I have done an explainer, so link below if you want to watch it. So given the massive support and benefits of Queenslink, you'd think Queenslink is in the design phase. Not quite, as the city and the federal government has not only made a huge mistake with advancing the metropolitan hub in 2022, but now extended that mistake to 1/3 of the right-of-way. Why? Well, they will tell you why. Senator Schumer says, for many of the 2.3 million people who live in Queens, access to public parks and open space is limited, and in many cases difficult and dangerous to access by bike or on foot. The Queensway will provide much-needed green space and a new transportation corridor within walking distance of hundreds of thousands of residents and countless small businesses in central Queens from Forest Hills to Ozone Park. Senator Gillibrand says, I also fought hard to make the Queensway project a reality. And now more than $117 million in federal funding will help transform this abandoned railway into a beautiful Queens community attraction. The Inflation Reduction Act paved the way for these incredible investments that will help transform underserved communities in New York City, undo the injustices of the past, and bring economic prosperity to New York City. Here, Queensway supporters did something ingenious. They know the immense popularity of Queenslink and how vital a transit connection the reactivation of the Rockaway Beach Branch is. So, they packaged Queensway as a transit connection too. Except, there is one tiny problem. I am looking at a rendering of the Queensway, and where are the tracks? Where are the stations? Where is the rapid transit? Bike lanes aren't mass transit. Because are these bike lanes going to shave 40 minutes for Rockaway commuters? Or are these bike lanes going to cut wait times for Rockaway commuters, who have one of the longest commutes in the nation? Are these bike lanes going to decongest the overcrowded Woodhaven Boulevard and Van Wyck Expressway? No, of course not, because bike lanes are not mass transit, just transportation. You see, transit is a buzzword they like to throw around because notice how they don't attach rapid or mass before transit. It is just transit, which is defined as the carrying of people, goods, and or material from one place to another. That is so vague that it can mean anything. Cars, ships, trains, bikes, literally anything that can get you from point A to point B. But when people, especially New Yorkers, think of transit, they think of public transportation. So, to the average person, they think, oh, the Queensway will make public transit better, so I should support this. Except what they mean by transit is bike lanes, which is far from rapid transit or mass transit, which is the context that New Yorkers are operating under. Don't get me wrong, I am a biker. I would love protected bike lanes and parks, especially near Woodhaven Boulevard. But the Queenslink already provides that, along with the train line. This is why I am so confused on why people don't already pick Queenslink. It combines the demands of the bikers and the transit riders into one good project. What more do you want? The irony here is that this money is coming from the Reconnecting Communities Fund of the Inflation Reduction Act. In their announcement, the federal DOT said that the Queensway would benefit areas with quote-unquote historically disadvantaged neighborhoods, including communities harmed by 20th century redlining, disproportionate environmental burdens, and disinvestment leading to high social vulnerability. After reading this, I am really confused. because Queensway will make reactivating the Rockaway Beach branch a near impossibility. This will double down on the historic disinvestment in areas like the Rockaways that have been harmed by redlining, subjecting them to infrequent trains. You know what will be the perfect way of reconnecting a community? Reactivating this train line. The Rockaway Beach branch can connect 8 train services and dozens of neighborhoods. This is the perfect use of the Reconnecting Communities Fund. But by building this park, you made reactivating this train line a near impossibility. But Queensway supporters tell you not to worry, because they say that it won't block future transit. Except it absolutely will. In Atlanta, there is a similar project to this called the Beltline. In the 2010s, thanks to the Trust for Public Land, the organization behind Queensway, the park portion of the Beltline was built first. But the train portion has still not been funded, as it is still subject to fights in City Hall a decade later. And TPL and Queensway know that. They once said on their website that Queens does not need another train line, showing their true intentions. They know that their park will block transit access and make it a near impossible to build a train line, because of how politically infeasible it is to dig through a park. They know the game perfectly. Queensway is not a parks project, it is a transit obstruction project. Just because the mayor and his cronies support the Queensway doesn't mean the battle is over. Right now, the Queenslink is fighting to be included in the next New York State budget. An environmental impact statement is needed to advance the project and help keep transit alive on the Rockaway Beach branch corridor. If you want to see Queenslink become a reality, then you need to use the Queenslink letter writing tool to let the state leaders who are currently negotiating the budget to include the Queenslink EIS funding. So far, thanks to you all, they have received over 4,000 letters. Good things only happen when people stand up and fight for them. The Queensway knows this, which is why they have been so secretive about their work. We can't afford to let Queens stay divided. So, let's keep going. Sign the Queenslink letter campaign and make rail a reality.